Hello, my name is Jason McDonald. I'm director of the JM Internet Group, and I'd like to welcome you to our first MOOC, Massive Online Open Course. This course is an explanation of search engine optimization. SEO is the art and science of getting your company to the top of Google searches for free. So this course has 5 classes. The first class is an introduction, and then we go through the various elements that you need to understand in order to succeed at SEO. Let's get started. Welcome back. This is, of course, the introduction to our SEO MOOC, which is a class on search engine optimization in plain English. And of course, in our introduction, we're going to explain what we're going to learn, how we're going to learn it, and what is this whole thing called SEO? How does it work? We're going to explain a very basic way for small business owners and marketers to understand the world of SEO. So let's get started. So what are our objectives? We're explaining how to get to the top of Google searches. Get your company to show up on page 1, preferably in those top 3 positions for free when a customer types your target keywords. That's what SEO is in a very simple way, in plain English. SEO is getting to the top of Google searches for free. We're going to do this. We're going to explain this with lots of hands-on, step-by-step instructions. I know everyone's busy. This is a very basic class. It's just going to explain the very basic elements of how to succeed at SEO. And we're going to leverage some worksheets and quizzes because the JM Internet Group is all about putting knowledge into action. So we're going to explain the game of SEO, and we're going to explain how to win at it, and we're going to give you some hands-on materials so you'll be able to do SEO as well as understand what it is. So what are our sessions? Our first session is our introduction. What is SEO? What is this animal called search engine optimization? How do we understand it? Then we're going to turn to keywords. We're going to talk about understanding the best keywords, finding the keywords that matter for you and your customers. The third session will talk about what's called on-page SEO, and we'll explain some very basic things like page tags that you can do to optimize your website. Our fourth session will be off-page SEO, where we'll talk about inbound links and social mentions. And don't worry if this doesn't make sense at this point. That's why you're taking the class. This lingo will make more sense at the end. And we're going to conclude with landings and metrics, how to talk about success in SEO. The philosophy of our class is you have to have knowledge. You have to understand what SEO is and how this game is played, a little bit of vocabulary, what the rules are. But you've really got to put that knowledge into effect. You've got to take action. So knowledge by itself is not good enough. We're going to give you some basic understanding, some basic principles, and then we're going to educate you on how to take action to get your website to the top. And that's going to give you some measure of SEO success. This is a slide about me. My name, of course, is Jason McDonald. I'm the director here at the JM Internet Group. I teach these classes online. I teach here in the Bay Area. I do lots of consulting, etc., etc. I love questions. My information is there on the screen, so don't hesitate to send me an email or shoot me. Send me an email or call me, not shoot me. Send me an email, shoot me an email, give me a call, and I'm happy to help. All right, so what's our agenda? So we're going to learn what is SEO? What is this endeavor called search engine optimization? We're going to talk a little bit about goals in our introduction. I think it's very helpful for websites, for business owners to look at a website and say, what is the purpose of this website as a marketing tool? We're going to conclude with some to-dos where we're going to talk about the worksheets and quizzes so you can take the knowledge that you'll gain from this class and implement it. So very simple agenda. So first of all, what is SEO? Search engine optimization, the art and science of getting to the top of Google and Bing. And our MOOC, our massively open online course, to coin an acronym that people use, our MOOC is based on a simple analogy that we're going to go back to again and again. SEO is like getting a job. It has a lot of similarities with a process that many of us are very familiar with, trying to get a job. So let's get started. So SEO, search engine optimization. Let's talk about how this works big picture level. So it starts with a search. A customer goes to Google and they do what? They start typing in their keywords. Industrial fans for agriculture. Hypnotherapists in Boston who can help me quit smoking. Best pizza restaurant, Winnemucca, Nevada. They start with a need. They type keywords into Google or Bing. That's the beginning of SEO, which is that search process. Then Google responds with a list of the best matches. And SEO is a lot of how to influence, cajole, beg, manipulate, get Google to put your company at the top of that list. You've got to show on that page 1 search results, which we'll get into as we go into the class. And then thirdly, you need the click. You've got to get them to click from Google, and you're going to get that because you're awesome. Your SEO is awesome. You're going to be at the top of Google. You're going to get that click. They're going to land on your website, and they're going to take some action that's going to become a sale or a sales lead. So SEO is search driven by keywords, Google or Bing. We're mainly going to focus on Google in this class. Google has about an 80% market share. If you succeed at Google, you'll succeed at Bing. And then it's about getting the clicks. This is a sort of a nerdy way of explaining what SEO is. Now let's talk about how SEO is like getting a job. So when you want a job, first of all, you figure out what kind of job you want. Those are your keywords. Do I want a job as a BMW auto mechanic? Do I want a job as a nurse? Do I want a job as a veterinarian? Those are the keywords. And what's the first thing that you do when you're looking for a job? Besides like asking your mom if she knows anybody who works at the vet's office. The first thing that you do is you produce a resume. You write a resume that says, I'm looking for a job as a veterinarian. What's the second thing that you do in getting a job? You cultivate references. Hey, Mom, do you know anybody that works at the vet's office? Hey, Dad, I want to be a BMW auto mechanic. Do you know anybody in BMW auto mechanic school that can help me get educated and then be my reference to substantiate that I am awesome as an auto mechanic? And then finally, what's my goal in my job search? It's to get an interview. And we're going to look at this analogy and we're going to explain that all this complicated mumbo jumbo by all these lovely SEO geeks is really a very simple system that's very much like getting a job. So resume, references, interview, something we're very familiar with. And we want to get that interview to get that job, just like we want to get that landing on our website to get that sale or to get that sale inquiry. All right, now let's talk about SEO lingo and compare that to getting a job. So first point, our goals are keywords. I want a job as a BMW auto mechanic. What are my keywords? BMW auto mechanic. Those are the keywords of my resume. I want to be number 1 for pizza in Winnemucca, Nevada. My keywords are pizza in Winnemucca, Nevada. I want to be number 1 for quit smoking hypnotherapist Boston. My keywords are smoking, hypnotherapy, Boston. Keywords exist in both get a job and get to the top of Google. On-page SEO. This is the nerd word for SEO. SEO is all about confusing people. Computer nerds love to make you feel stupid. They create a lot of lingo to make you feel dumb. My philosophy is I want you to feel intelligent and empowered. On-page SEO is a fancy word for your website. Just like when you look for a job, you need a great resume. When you work at SEO, you need a great website. And that website, as we're going to learn in our second class or third class, has to talk to Google in the correct way. Just like a great resume has to talk to a job employer by identifying your proper keywords. So on-page SEO is that great resume. It's your website. Off-page SEO, that's another nerd word. Off-page SEO, those are your external references. When you get a job, you need that reference. The boss's wife likes you. What does that do? It pulls your resume out of the heap, gets your resume to the top. Off-page SEO we're going to learn inbound links, social mentions, external web attributes that give your website credibility and authority. So off-page SEO corresponds to great references. Now, what's the point of the job hunt? The point of the job hunt, the point of the job search is to get an interview. Now, you can still blow it at the interview. The same occurs in SEO. The purpose of SEO is to get the click from Google, to get a landing on your website. In job land, you want the interview. In SEO land, you want the landing, and then you're trying to get that sales lead or sale. So goals and keywords, those are the beginning. On page is the resume. Off page is the references. The landing on your website is a parallel to a great job interview. SEO and getting a job match each other perfectly. So if you think about getting a job and you think about optimizing your website, you now have a structural map to understand the entire game of SEO. Now let's look at this equation. I built this fancy map for you. This is this formula for SEO success. So first, your resume, your website talking to Google in the way that we're going to teach you in this basic class and in the way I teach you in our more advanced class, how to talk to Google to communicate your priorities, just like writing a great resume. What's the second element you need? That awesome reference. Oprah Winfrey says, "You are awesome." That's going to pull you to the top of the job heap. The BMW auto mechanic faculty dean says, "You're awesome." The boss's wife says, "You're awesome." That pulls you to the top of the heap. In SEO, these external links pull your website to the top. A great resume plus great references does what? Gets you the job interview. A great website that talks to Google correctly in a language that Google understands, plus great references, aka links and social mentions, gets your website to the top of the heap of Google. What's our third element in job search land? It's the interview. In SEO land, it's the landing on the website where you take that next step to become a sale or a sales lead. These three elements combined is success. So this slide right here is everything you need to know about SEO as a structural map. Okay, now let's start to look at some examples. SEO is an active skill. It's like baking a cake. It's like getting a job. You have to do it. What does mommy tell you? Go get some job interviews and learn how to interview. You got to do it. So we need the knowledge and we need the action. So let's look at some examples of SEO in action. So I'm going to go over here to the landing. Now, the class links are 56. So you can go to our website, type in the code 56. That's going to get you to the link. Oops, my bad. 57 is the code for this class. 57. 56 gets you to all the goodies. 57 gets you right to the class landings. Okay, so now let's look at some examples. So I want to think about SEO. You want to start from the end to understand how things work. So let's look at some examples. Let's look at one of my favorite Google searches to teach SEO. And I'm going to go look at this search here. Okay, so we did a Google search. Now let's look at this Google search. Medical malpractice attorney, San Francisco. I love to teach using personal injury attorneys. Why? Because they're very smart. They're very intelligent. They're very motivated. This is an industry that is totally migrated to the internet. They're killer. They are using the best SEO practices. Learn from their tactics. Bring that back to your sad, pathetic, retro industry, and you will dominate and crush the competition. Okay, so let's think about what's going on. Someone has figured out the keywords. Is it medical malpractice attorney? Is it medical malpractice lawyer? Is it medical malpractice? Is it personal injury attorney? Is it San Francisco? Is it SF? Is it SF Bay Area? Those are our keywords that start the search. Top left, top right, those are the ads. What do most people think about ads on the internet? Ads are lies. So they ignore these guys. Those are all lies. I'm going to ignore those. And then what do I want to do? I want to go down to the natural or organic results. Here's number 1, number 2, number 3. Now let's look at number 3 and let's be what I call a Google detective. So here's our number 3. Gold, silver, bronze. These two are listing services, so I'm going to ignore them as an example. Let's look at our number 3, our bronze medalist for the search, medical malpractice attorney, San Francisco. And let's think about this process of knowing the keywords, structuring the website, building awesome links, getting a landing. I want you to look at this page and be a Google detective. So notice the URL has some of the keywords we just entered. We're going to learn that in this class on a very basic level. We're going to get it in a more advanced level later. Now, let's go Control F as in Frank, and let's type in the word medical. If I can spell here, medical, and let's hit Highlight All. Now look at that pink on that page. Somebody at Walkup Law Office thought through their keywords, wrote great content for their website. Now think about their actions. You land on the website. What do you see? You see pictures and you see words that do what? Confirm to you, the searcher, this is a page about medical malpractice. This website is talking to Google. Look at these pictures here. These people are not like, yay, we had a baby. They're like, oh my God, what is going tragically wrong? So this entire landing page has been constructed to get to the top of Google through the tactics we're going to teach in this very basic class and through the tactics that we teach in our more advanced classes. This page talks to Google. Behind the scenes, there are inbound links and other references pulling it to the top of that Google search. Now let's talk about that action, that job interview. What do they want you to do? Look over here. They want you to fill out a form to become a sales lead, right? They want you to fill this form out. Whoop, I skipped over here. They want you to fill this form out. This is the desired action. Okay, now let's look at somebody else who did a great job on SEO. Another company I love to use in my classes. And again, all of these instructor links, you can get to them on the website. Just click on the YouTube description below, or if you've already registered for the class, you'll have access to all the materials. Let's look at CRM software. So CRM software, here's the search. Is it CRM software? Is it customer relations management software? Is it CRM software online? Those are those keywords. Ads, top left, top right. Most people ignore these. Let's go down here to Zoho, which is about position 5. You've got to be on that first page to really count. That's the top 10. Let's look at Zoho's page. Open that up. Now let's think about somebody at Zoho software. They thought through their keywords, CRM. They place those in the right positions. Look at their action. It's right in the middle of the page. Get started. Click on Get Started. Where do you go? You go to a sign up for something free. What is that? A sales lead. So the first point in our class, where we're going, we got to know our keywords, just like when we're looking for a job. We got to put those keywords in the right positions on our website. That's our resume. We got to build links and social mentions. Those are our references. We got to think about the landing experience to get a sales lead or a sale. That's our job interview. So in the instructor links, I have examples of some companies that do a great job at SEO that you can start to learn from. Okay, now let's talk about goals. Again, we're in the introduction here to our MOOC. So we're just explaining the game of SEO. We're using the analogy of a job interview, of looking for a job. Let's talk about goals. Like, what is that annoying question that adults always ask kids? What do you want to be when you grow up? My daughter just started at university, and what's your major, right? What do you want to be? And SEO, this is the question you should ask about your website. Who does it want to attract? Why does a customer want to land on this website? What are they looking for? That's the equivalent of, what do you want to be when you want to grow up? Got to ask that question about your website. So SEO, newsflash for the SEO gurus and industries, it's not an end in itself. It's a means to an end. We want to get a sale or a sales inquiry. If you're a nonprofit, you still want to reach an audience. You still have quote unquote something to sell, whether it's an HIV test or come in to donate blood or give money to the breast cancer walk. You have a goal. So SEO is a means to an end, usually a sales or sales ladder, sales inquiry. Now let's talk about your sales ladder. Some people call this funnel. I'm not a big fan of the term funnel. I like to use the word sales ladder. So how does that start? You've got to think, what do those customers need? What do they want? Then what are we going to start to immediately see, which we're going to get to in our next class? What are the keywords that people are searching for? And you've gotta understand your keywords. Then you've got to do your magical SEO to get to the top of Google, and you're going to get that landing. They're going to land on your website, and you're going to think through the action that you want them to take. So SEO is goal-oriented. First big question, what are the goals of your website? And I'll tell you right now, it better be a sale or a sales inquiry. That's the goal of the website for 98% of companies. Unless you're Wikipedia or the White House, you have an objective with your website. It is usually a sale or a sales action, sales inquiry. Everything should lead towards that goal. Now, let's flip that around. What do people want on the internet? What do people want? What do your customers want? Let's talk about some words here. Let's talk about free. I pride myself as the world's cheapest man. Everybody wants something for free. That's what people are often looking for as a first step on a website on the internet. Why? Because people are skittish. They're like little horses in Winnemucca, Nevada. They're a little freaked out by the rattlesnakes. So people are reluctant to just give you their email, call you on the phone. They want to check you out. They want to taste the ice cream. So everybody wants something free. That's a great first step in your sales ladder, is to have something free. Now, what do most companies often do? Offer a free download of our software, a free download of our white paper, a free ebook, something to download for free to give them a taste of how awesome you and I both know you are. The free taste of the ice cream. Free consultation. You're a roofing company in Dallas. What do you offer? Free consultation, free estimate. You're an attorney, free consult. That's a common free offer on the internet. One thing that I love, free webinar or seminar, so you can, guess what? See how awesome our classes are, and we make SEO easy for normal people to understand. Free webinar, free seminar, free white paper. So think about, what do you have that's free that you can offer on your website to capture a sales lead? If you sell something and it's not that big of a deal, you can often sell directly. If you sell something more expensive, you're going to need to get a sales lead. So free and what you offer are opposite sides of the same coin. Ultimately, we're looking for sales leads, and we want our whole SEO process to lead to quality sales leads. That's what most of us want through registrations, almost always for something free. Now let's look again at free, and let's just reverse engineer this. Let's go back and let's look at some examples. Let's go back and let's look at this example. Now I have a link over here to a wonderful article on free on Wired Magazine. It's pretty old. It was, I think, in 2000. Chris Anderson wrote this great article in this great book about free and how free works on the internet. Awesome article. I highly recommend you read it. It's in the links for the class. Now let's look at Salesforce.com, which is one of the top performers for CRM. Now look at all this content on CRM on their website, right? Now think of what they're doing here. What are they using free for? So you do a Google search, you land here, you see CRM, you see, oh my gosh, they're the best, I can get 44. That's the, hey, look at how fantastic my ice cream is. It's amazing. It's yummy, yummy, yummy. What do they want you to do? Sign up for a free demo. That becomes the sales lead. Think of your job search analogy. You send out the resume. You don't charge people to look at your resume, do you? It's free. Look at my resume. What I want to do, I will come in and talk to you for free in a job interview, during which what will you get to do? Quote unquote, taste how awesome I am as an employee. So the website leads to something free. The free becomes the sales inquiry. The sales inquiry is like the job interview, and off you go down your sales funnel or sales ladder. So you want to start to look at that. Look at your website and think, does your website motivate people to get to something free? Yes or no? Yes or no? If it doesn't, you need some help. Okay, now we've done that. Okay, so now let's talk about our to-do. So think about this introductory class. We understand SEO now. Get to the top of Google for free. It's just like searching for a job. We've got our resume, we've got our references, we've got our job interview, we've got all those elements. We can see already that where we're going to go in class number 2 is keywords. Now let's talk about taking the knowledge from this very basic class and implementing it, turning it into action, because we are all about action. Who cares about knowledge if you don't turn it into action? So let's talk about what you want to do. You want to start to think about your SEO as a connection point between what you've got and what they want. And you want to define your business value proposition, fancy word for what you've got, and define your customer search patterns, fancy word for what they're looking for. So I have this little example over here on the left. I need a Boston hypnotherapist who specializes in helping folks quit smoking. That's the customer need. What are they looking for? I need somebody in Boston. Guess what? You're in Boston. I want a hypnotherapist. I don't want to do the patch. I want hypnotherapy. That's a connection point. And I want to quit smoking. I don't want to lose weight. I want to lose weight, but the person doesn't want to lose weight. They want to quit smoking. They don't want stress management. Of course, I want stress management. But in this example, they want a Boston hypnotherapist who helps you quit smoking. Those are your connection points. So start mapping out those connection points, and the worksheets are going to help you do that. So let's look at our worksheets, and let's talk about our business value proposition. Now, you've got to register for the class to get the worksheets. So no big deal, just give me your fake email. I know you have one. Give us your email and we'll give you access to the worksheets. Now let's look at the worksheets. And let's talk, here's your class materials. Let's talk about the worksheets, okay? All right, so let's look at the worksheet here. This second one is the one I want you to look at. So let's print that out. So that's a PDF or a Word document, and I've got these all set up for you. This is Jason as therapist. This is how I teach my regular classes. This is Jason as therapist. So you sit down with your team and you write a business value proposition. We are a hypnotherapist in Boston. We help people quit smoking, lose weight, and manage stress. That's your BVP. Who are your customers? People in Boston, people who want to quit smoking, people who are looking for an alternative way to solve a problem. Write your customers down. Customer segments, in this case, anti-smokers, people want to lose weight, stress management, maybe some other use of hypnotherapy. Maybe they want to have a water birth for their baby. Customer segments are going to vary based on your industry. This is Marketing 101. Connection points. What do you offer that they want? Write out your connection points. Search paths. How do they find you? SEO is all about the first path. If they're going to Google and they're entering keywords, then you gotta get to the top of Google to succeed. Now, there are other paths that I teach in our classes on social media. We're not going to talk about those right now. Just we're talking about the SEO path. Then you're going to talk about your desired action and sales ladder. Register for something or buy something. Do you have something free? Yes or no? If you do, great. What is it? If not, why not? What's wrong with you? You think people are going to buy your ice cream without a free taste? Are you nuts? Create something free that makes it easy and non-threatening for them to start the process. Could just be free consultation on the phone. But something free is really valuable. The last class, we're going to get into measurement and metrics, again, at a very, very basic. So this first worksheet is just helping you understand your BVP and get that out on paper. Now, a class isn't a class without some super fun quizzes. Yay! You know you want to take a quiz. So I have 2 types of quizzes built into this MOOC. A knowledge quiz. I want to make sure you know the basics of SEO in this first class. And an action quiz. I want you to rate your team, your company. How are you doing? Are you implementing what you know? Or are you like, you know it, but we're not really doing it? That's lame, right? Hello, you've got to do it. It's not good enough to just know about it. There's a lot of things in life that you might know about, but believe me, they're a lot more fun if you do them. Same idea here. You've got to know it, and then you've got to do it. And I'm thinking of baking a cake. I don't know what you're thinking about. So let's review our class quizzes. So in our class quizzes, you're going to measure, you're going to click on your quiz, and it's going to pop up a little knowledge quiz. You're going to go through, and it's going to test your knowledge. and you're going to do your action quiz, and it's going to rate whether you're actually implementing that knowledge. So that's how the class is built. That's going to be in our second module as well. So everything is online. You can register for the class at 56. That's the code, jm-seo.org/56. I'm happy to entertain questions. You can put them on our YouTube channel. You can submit them by email. You can submit them through the web format. So thank you very much for taking class 1, and I really hope that you get going on your SEO and get to class 2, 3, 4, and 5 in our introductory MOOC. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing your quizzes come through over the internet.